What is up, everybody? And it is time for some playoff football as the New York Giants are going to US Bank Stadium to take on the 10-7 Minnesota Vikings, led by one of the best running backs in the NFL, Dalvin Cook. And let's not forget Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. They're trying to get to the Super Bowl with this talented team, must I say, but the Road Warriors are here to stop them as the New York Giants 9-8, but 6-3 on the road this season. It's going to be a tough matchup as New York beat Minnesota 28-3 in week, I think, 5. So this is going to be an exciting game. New York's been here before. Wildcard team, make the playoffs, go all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. But we got to start our weekly strategy. And of course, there's no difference here. We've got to stop Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook runs and then they can just throw it with Thielen and Jefferson, then we don't have a chance. And really, that's been our focus all year is can we stop the run? Now, you see the Vikings defense is 5th in the NFL in sacks, 6th in total yards, and 10th in points per game. So really they have the 10th best defense. They're no slouch. Our biggest thing, I think, is going to be running it on the inside. So let's go ahead and advance. Let's start this training. Hopefully we don't have any big injuries before the big game. And Charles Cross has been, oh my God, we've already got 2. Okay, back up. I'm not really worried about that. Alex Woods is our starting defensive tackle, but that's okay. Hughes Jr. comes in and he has been absolutely phenomenal. We ain't got nobody hurt on offense, which is good. We need all the help we can get. But now you know what time it is. Let's get ready to rumble. Here we go at US Bank Stadium as the 9-8 New York Giants come in to Wildcard weekend to take on Kirk Cousins and the 10-7 Minnesota Vikings. A lot at stake here today. Loser moves on to potentially face the LA Rams. Oh, I'm sorry, the winner. Loser goes home and has to wait till next year. As first-year coach Frank Dock comes in today saying losing is not an option, but you got to expect this New York Giants offense to pound the rock all day long and try to limit the amount of possessions from the Vikings. New York Vikings coming up. Fox Wildcard Weekend playoff football. And what more could you ask for as New York wins the coin toss? They elect to defer, and we are underway here in Minnesota. And here is Kirk Cousins leading the charge on offense. Decent year for Kirk Cousins. Nothing to get too excited about. 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,200 yards through the air. The real story of the Vikings offense is Dalvin Cook. And the key to stopping them is stopping him. As you see earlier today, the Pittsburgh Steelers laid an absolute whooping on the Jacksonville Jaguars, winning 37-6, so they will advance on to the divisional series as the first toss of the day is handed to Dalvin Cook, who gets stopped at the line by Ujulari, who had a big game last week with 2 sacks, I do believe. And he comes in beating Cook to the edge, shedding the block, and bringing him down for a net gain of 0. New York will have to do that all game long. They cannot let up as they have one of the worst defenses in the NFL when it comes to rushing, stopping the run. As we got a little jet sweep trickery, and Drake Jackson, the rookie, stopping Adam Thielen for a loss of 7. And New York could not have had a better start to the day's game on the first 2 plays. That leaves a 3rd down and 17 for Kirk Cousins. Here on his first drive of the day, the ball is snapped. Clean pocket for him. Oh, but there is Kayvon Thibodeau for a sack. And what is going on here as New York Giants, who beat the Vikings 28-3, say we can do it again? Upset Viking player there on the sideline, and Vikings will have to punt it. And here is the man with the most pressure. His name is Daniel Jones, and his game is not turning over the ball. He has thrown 13 interceptions this year. He kind of took off at the last quarter of the season, but really the story for New York, no surprise to anyone, It's easy to figure out, but hard to stop. And that's the running attack. They are without Saquon Barkley, but a nice surprise is this guy right here, Gary Brightwell, who pushes forward for a gain of 8. He led the NFL in touchdowns with 16. And if they run like that, then that is going to be a big problem for New York as Daniel Jones moves a tight end in motion, as the strength of Minnesota is sacks. Stopping the passing game as Brightwell moves up and he gains another 10. As New York is already moving the ball very well, momentum, the stadium is quiet. But the strength of Minnesota is Danielle Hunter in stopping the passing attack. But if New York continues to run it, they won't need to pass it. Another player in motion, another handoff as Devontae Booker pushes forward and he picks up 5. After a holding call, which New York cannot do. They cannot commit turnovers, cannot commit penalties. Their offense just is not powerful enough. We've got a 3rd down and 10 ball on the 32, and it is hiked. Daniel Jones looking to try to find some room here. He swings out to the right, and he goes out of bounds and picks up the 1st down. And there it is. That's the key for New York. Can they continuously move the ball on the ground? And even in passing situations, can Daniel Jones, when he can't find anyone, can he still pick up the 1st down? Everything looking good for New York here early, as Brightwell will pick up about 2 on the play. Actually, they're not going to say he picked up anything after Daniel Jones's first pass of the day, which was a bubble screen to Darius Slayton, which picked up about 9. Here we are, 3rd down. And Gary Brightwell picks up the 1st down and gets it inside the 5, and New York is clicking on all cylinders. Gary Brightwell already averaging 6.8 yards a carry. You see that defense getting tired as they're just getting manhandled here. As Brightwell gets stopped, doesn't pick up any yards on that play. It's going to be 3 tough downs for Minnesota, as New York is almost an absolute certainty to get into the end zone, and there it is. Not Brightwell, not Barkley, but Booker, and New York will take the lead here, and this is very questionable. Can Graham Gano make his kicks in the playoffs? And so far, so good. 7-0 New York. Start to the game for Minnesota, but it still is early. We got 5 minutes left in the 1st quarter. Stack box for Minnesota. They're going to have to look to try to probably move the ball through the air early, as that's been the best play of the day for them so far. It was a Dalvin Cook gain of 6. And O.J. Howard got hurt on that touchdown play, and he has a pulled groin. He will not return for the game. So not that they might not need him, but O.J. Howard has been the best receiver for, oh, nice little trickery there. Dalvin Cook tries to cut back on Drake Jackson, and he doesn't pick up the 1st down. I think if he went to the edge, he would have had it, but O.J. Howard not being there for Daniel Jones could prove to be problematic for this offense, as an incomplete pass by Kirk Cousins, feeling the pressure maybe of a playoff game, because there was really nobody in his face, and he misses a wide open pass in New York, stopping Minnesota again. 2nd 3 and out for them. Update from around the league as we've got a 3rd down and 7. Washington, the winners of the NFC East, has a commanding lead in their game, looking to move on. Daniel Jones throwing that to, it would have been O.J. Howard. Kyle Rudolph cannot create separation. He tries to get a hand up and catch it, and that falls down to the ground. Now Minnesota doing their job on defense, stops New York from picking up any more points, and they have to punt it. Got a flag on the play. I'm sure that's blocking the back there by Minnesota, number 20. So Minnesota will get this ball after the penalty on the 8-yard line. And they've got a long way to go here to tie this game up, as they're handing it back off to Dalvin Cook, and he is stopped by Drake Jackson yet again. 4 rushes, 11 yards, and just nothing on the ground for Dalvin Cook. New York here early, playing right. Oh man, nice little play action there. We've got another 3rd down. New York trying to force the 3rd 3 and out by Minnesota as a play action. And there's Ujulari again with his third sack in 2 weeks. And the Boo Birds are already out in Minnesota. New York's defense is rolling. Nice field position for New York. And if they could get this all game long, it will be a tough thing for Minnesota to stop, as Brightwell will get this carry. And that will end the first quarter with New York up 7-0. Start the second quarter. We're going to do a little play action, see if we can. Oh, Darius Slayton almost catches it in and out of the hands of the wide receiver. Daniel Jones has not had too many open receivers here, but he's only thrown the ball 3 times, and we've got a 3rd down and 7. Minnesota looking to try to stop New York again. Setting up blocks is Devontae Booker, who picks up the first down on the little slip screen. And he gets stopped at the 25. Daniel Jones 2 for 4 with 22 yards. Nice little pickup on the play there, as now we got a 1st down and 10. Gary Brightwell beside Daniel Jones in the shotgun. And yes, that is handed to Mr. Brightwell. And he doesn't pick up much. Wide open, Kenny Galladay. And Kenny Galladay almost gets into the end zone. I think he might have gotten stopped at the 2 or 3 yard line, and Minnesota is reeling. They look shell-shocked here. And Gary Brightwell pushes forward for a touchdown. Hurt Minnesota on the play in New York here in the second quarter with a 14-0 lead. Minnesota with its best play of the day. Dalvin Cook carries that almost to the 50. And Minnesota's not going to give up on their running attack. It's what has gotten them to this point so far in the season. And they're just not going to give up on it now, especially in New York. They're not the best team at stopping the run. Just 1 quarter does not make a game here, as you see Minnesota continuing to pound the rock. This time, I think that was Cordell Patterson. No, that was Alexander Madison, I'm sorry, who picks up 10 on the play. Drake Jackson with his 4th tackle already on the day, and Minnesota here now finally in opposing territory here on the 41-yard line. Shotgun set for Kirk Cousins, and they are once again handing this off to Dalvin Cook, who slips a block and picks up about 8, maybe 9 before James Bradbury is in for the tackle. And no, they're going to say he only picked up 7. There he is! Justin Jefferson. They sucked up the defense of New York on a play action 1-on-1, and it's hard to stop Mr. Jefferson as he scores a touchdown. And now, just like that, it's a missed extra point. Now, New York has missed extra points all season long. We have not seen Minnesota doing that, but they do it here, and now they're down by 8. We'll see if that comes back to bite them later on in the game. There's Daniel Jones getting out of the pressure as Pierce and Danielle Hunter were closing in, and we've seen Daniel Jones do that so much this season. When the pressure comes around him, he just takes off and run. You got to contain him. And he just jumps up in the front of the pocket and picks up a 1st down, as Minnesota has found a recipe for success here in stopping the run. New York's not been able to run the ball as well here in the second quarter as they were the first, making it a little bit more difficult for Daniel Jones and his offense to pick up yards, as you see there. 2 rushes on 1st and 2nd down, only a gain of 4 yards total. And that brings up a 3rd down and 6 with 5 minutes left in the first half. You hear the crowd getting a little bit more antsy, knowing a stop here could mean a tied game in the next drive. Ball is snapped. Devontae Booker gets stopped before picking up a 1st down, only able to pick up 3. Benito comes in for the stop, but here's the question. Does Frank Donk, who's known to go for it quite often, decide to go for it here today? And man, I hate all of these plays, but I think we're going to go for it. We're going to at least look and see what we got. We could run this. We could run this. Do we do it? I think we do. Very aggressive play here for New York as They get it! Devontae Booker picking up the first down at midfield. Ballsy play by Frank Dong, but you're not in the NFL if you don't have a big set of you-know-what. See Washington with a 24-0 lead on Arizona. That's a big upset there. Brewing. Gary Brightwell pushes forward. After pick up 7, I think he only picks up 1 on that play, so it brings up a 3rd down. And 2. Ball on the 40. Vikings fans chanting once again, hoping to get a stop here, and I think they do. Now, Graham Gano has not been very successful at kicking, and yes, Frank Don rushes his team back out there, but here's the 2-minute warning. Another big 4th down. Who will win, New York or Minnesota? The ball snap, extending the drive. Gary Brightwell is, and now they can run time off the clock before halftime is up, maybe leaving Minnesota with not much time left to answer if New York is lucky enough to score here. Nice run by Devontae Booker. I'm not sure what Van Noy was doing. That was a very, very weird situation there as we are down on about a minute left, and they did not give New York the first down. Minute left here in the first half. Daniel Jones completes that to Kyle Rudolph. Ex-Minnesota Viking would love to get some revenge on his team here today. He gets out of bounds, and there's 56 seconds left, but not before picking up the first down. Do a little screen, see what we got here. There's Gary Brightwell. Got a ton of space in him, and a big Andrew Thomas, who was so slow, we couldn't. I was hoping he'd move down and we just follow him into the end zone. Andrew Thomas, not the fastest player in the NFL. Former tackle, moved guard this year by Frank Dong. He brings up a 2nd down and inches as they look to pick up a 1st down and 2. We'll see a hurry-up offense from New York. 30 seconds left. There's no rush. We've seen New York convert these before. As Danielle Hunter once again there bringing pressure. Daniel Jones moves up the middle and picks up a few yards. This will bring up a 2nd down. 2nd down and 6. Can pick up a 1st down without a touchdown. New York, it would be huge if they could pick up a 1st down and maybe even more. Daniel Jones runs it in. And his first rushing touchdown of his playoff career. And New York is up 21-6. And I'm telling you what, Danielle Hunter is hurt. Things are going bad to worse for Minnesota. Wow, okay. It is playoff football. Minnesota with one more timeout, 14 seconds. Nice little completion to Justin Jefferson. And they have an opportunity to potentially kick a field goal. And that is complete. Another timeout, 8 seconds left. Man, I thought for sure Minnesota was just going to hang up or just kneel, but they're going to try to make this extra point. Or I'm sorry, this 58-yard field goal, and it's blocked! We blocked it! New York is on fire! Minnesota is shell-shocked as Daniel Jones comes out here in the 3rd quarter. We see a few highlights here. Gary Brightwell, the rushing attack for New York, who in week 5, when they beat Minnesota 28-3, had 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown. Here so far, 3 rushing touchdowns. We haven't seen the passing touchdowns, but I tell you what, New York is clicking on offense, defense, and even special teams. Yes, special teams. Gary Brightwell has been everything for the New York Giants offense. That's why he got the nod halfway through the season to be the starter. But Daniel Jones will have to be without him. 3rd down and 6 here. Daniel Jones with room up the middle. Skedaddles and picks up the 1st down. Daniel Jones, 5 rushes, 44 yards. He's like, hey, I don't need nobody but my legs. As Gary Brightwell has broken ribs and will not return to the game. That means New York has only 1 running back on the active roster. If something happens to Devontae Booker, they will not have a running back. They'll have to use a fullback, maybe a tight end. And that is not what New York wants. I mean, they just can't operate like that. I mean, we'd have to pass it, and that would not be a good thing. Little stutter step. Devontae Booker showing he's got some moves, picks up the first down, but there is a flag on the play. It's probably coming back. Andrew Thomas, who has not looked good at right guard all season. You would think it would have worked out, you know, being a right guard, not having to go up against some of the most premier pass rushers, maybe a little easier, but he's just not been comfortable. He's committed a lot of penalties throughout the season. Second down to 17. And there he is. Cannot delay the inevitable as the leading sack getter this season. Danielle Hunter comes in and smacks Daniel Jones on this first drive of the second half. And that's exactly what Minnesota needed, to breathe some life back into the team, to the stadium. Third down and 28. You got to think Daniel Jones and his offense is probably just going to dump it down. And they do. Kyle Rudolph picking up some yards, get it to about the 30, and they'll just punt it. So will this be a tale of two halves for Minnesota, or just more of the same? We're about to find out. First drive for Minnesota here. In the second half, we've got a tight end in motion. You got to think they're probably going to go right back. Yes, they are, to running it, feeding Dalvin Cook, and he brings that all the way to midfield. He had a rough start the first two drives, that first quarter, but he is now clicking and moving. Minnesota here at basically midfield, first down and 10, not getting a 3 and out. It's great, as they once again are going to hand this to Dalvin Cook, who's got room and space on the outside, and he picks up about 8. But now Dalvin Cook is not getting up. That'll mean Madison will have to come in and provide some relief. Second down and 2. And they're going to be okay with Hannon and Madison, who picks up the first down and falls forward almost to the 30. Washington did win their game 24-0, so they advance on to the divisional round, where I think they'll either play the Saints or the Buccaneers. Winner of that game, Leonard Williams, is down on the play. Pulled groin for Leonard Williams, not to return. So now New York is down to their backup defensive tackles. Alex Wood was hurt in practice this week. Leonard Williams is hurt now. Third down and 8 for Minnesota, who's looking to try to get rid of it. They do, but not before getting stopped, before getting the first down. So with already one extra point and field goal missed by Joseph here, he will look to push his team up. He misses it. Minnesota can't get anything right. An extra point, 2 missed field goals. They've left 7 points on the board. That would have made this a 21 to 14 point game, right? No, 21-13. I can't add. But now New York gets the ball on the 35. Daniel Jones, tight end in motion, handing that off to Devontae Booker, who will pick up, I think, 8. Maybe 7, no 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Buccaneers beat the Saints. So that means we've got the Buccaneers going up against the Washington Commanders next week. The winner of this game, I'm sorry, I say that like it's a given, but if New York wins, they will be going up to Los Angeles to face Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Third down and 6 for New York here. Ball on the 28. Minnesota been able to stop Devontae Booker from picking up any extra yards on the ground here. The pocket collapses for Daniel Jones, and he escapes again all the way to the 10-yard line and goes down as 5 Minnesota Vikings surround him. 6 rushes, 63 yards. Kirk Cousins is like, what is going on? And second down, a goal, ball on the 5. We're going to pass and give Booker some time to relax here. And look at that, wide open, Kadarius Toney. So there it is. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. This is the same exact thing that happened, I think, in week 5 when New York played Minnesota here in Minnesota. And who says that lightning can't strike twice? Third down and 9 for Minnesota, who I got to think if they don't get some points out of this drive, that they might be out of it. Madison will catch that. Kirk Cousins 7 for 10, 88 yards, and that touchdown to Justin Jefferson in the second quarter. New York has a 28-6 lead here in Wildcard weekend against the Minnesota Vikings. New York with the biggest odds, or the worst odds, to make the Super Bowl is looking at everyone not pick them, saying they can't win, saying they don't have this or that or this or that. But right now, they've got a 22-point lead against the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is reeling. They're going to have to pass their way out of this one. And that was thrown deep. The Jefferson, James Bradbury in coverage. That is snapped, and it's caught by Adam Thielen. His second catch of the day. First catch of like 2 or 3 yards, nothing big there, but that was a huge catch. Well, about 15. Kansas City beats Baltimore in their matchup this week. So Kansas City moving on. Baltimore, who New York did beat. Daniel Jones pumped up there. That brings up 4th down and 5. Minnesota already missing a lot of field goals. Won't dare try to kick this one. And it's almost intercepted. Jenkins, man, you're right there. We even had a chance to use that. And that is a turnover on downs. Devontae Booker is hurt. Who is going to run for us? We can't put a fullback in? I'm gonna have to not run it just to keep it realistic. So New York without a running back, even though Barkley's in, we're gonna have to pass it, which means we can't run time off the clock, which means we could just pass it to Darius Slayton and pick up a first down. Daniel Jones, 9 of 11, 90 yards through the air and the 1 touchdown. Bruce Turnham, he will not return for the game, so Saquon. All 3 of our running backs are hurt. It really couldn't have gotten any worse. For a good thing we have a nice lead. 2nd down and 11. Who are we going to? Oh, man, there's Danielle Hunter. Got to get rid of it. Holy crap. And New York did the impossible. 31-6. New York comes into Minnesota and just smacks the Vikings around for 4 quarters. They will move on to the divisional round and face the number 1 seed in the NFC. Guys, could we have had a better start to Frank Donk's playoff career? I mean, we had a complete game. We had like 3 or 4 sacks. Drake Jackson had like 12 or 13 tackles. We ran for over 200 yards. We threw it. Daniel Jones didn't even throw an interception. I mean, everything went perfect. Leonard Williams is going to be out 4 weeks. Gary Brightwell is out 4 weeks. OJ Howard is out 4 weeks. So that means we have to pick up. We are going to have to pick up a running back in free agency. So let's advance next week and see. Of course, we know we're playing the Rams. If we look at the playoff bracket, LA versus New York, Washington versus Tampa Bay. How great would it be if we got a New York, Washington NFC championship game? I'm just saying. Tennessee and Miami over on the left of the AFC, and then going up against Pittsburgh and Kansas City. That's actually a good matchup because Najee Harris is the best running back right now. This statistically was the best in the NFL this past year. So that's going to be a really, really good game. So let's go into free agency and just see, is there anyone that we can pick up? I want somebody potentially with some speed. I don't really care if they're on the practice squad. As much as I want to bring in Matt Breida because I think he would be good, or somebody like Rashard Penny, I do think the smart, realistic thing to do is going to be to bring in James White. So we only have 70,000 left in our cap space. So we are going to sign him to the roster. James White will be probably our 3rd down or our receiving running back. Guys, next week, next video, we are going up, and this is going to be our toughest game yet. Make sure to hit that like button, and I'll catch you on the next one.